What's going on, team? Proof here, and welcome to the redo, part 2, the sequel, whatever you want to call it, for the Zazan Chronicles. So, as you guys may have seen, I put up a video earlier today talking about the odds of getting Zazan if you're going first and getting the full skill off to do all the stuff and things recording or referring to Zazan. And shout out to Vanguard Insider. He actually pointed out that I made some false or incorrect assumptions in my sample problem. So actually recruited somebody who's much smarter than me when it comes to probability. He's actually a math teacher in my Discord channel, and he was willing to help out and figure out some better ways to do this. And I'm gonna pass it off to him to talk about this whole PDF thing that he put together while we were doing it today in my Discord channel. So big shout out to Matt, aka Wiggums, from the Nexus Night crew. Getting my little return on investment from doing some podcasts with them. So if you want to say hi to the people.
Hello everyone. So yeah, I'm Wiggums or Matt, and yeah, I was tagged by Proof to read the comment from Vanguard Insider, and I was like, yeah, no, all the statements make sense, and I was interested in the multivariate hypergeometric distribution, which I looked into, and I have a little bit of a blurb, but it's not important. What's important here is the probability for so basically for a hypergeometric distribution, you say, well, I'm going to look at if I want to find, what's my odds of finding a crit in a triple drive when I have 10 crits in my deck, right? Mm-hmm. That was like kind of so it was either a crit or not a crit. Right. So you had two groups of things. What you can use for this one is you could say, well, I want many boxes. Maybe I want the chances of a crit and a draw. Maybe I want the chances of a crit and a heal. Something like that. You want more boxes. So you have crit, heal, nothing, crit, draw, heal, nothing. So you can have as many boxes as you wish. And it uses this kind of a multinomial setup. That's what we normally call these things, multinomials, where you have a kind of this choose one, or like M1 choose J1, M2 choose J2, where basically each of these are the size of each box.
Right.
So if I have 8 crits, then M1 would be 8. If I have 4 draws, M2 would be 4. If I have and M3 would be your 4 heals, and then the 33 other cards would be M4.
Okay, that makes sense.
And that would be your 4 boxes. So you're like crits, draws, heals, nothing. So we're doing much the same thing, except our boxes here are going to be the 4 Zazan, which we care about, and I just used 20 vanillas. Obviously, the number gets better the more vanillas you have. We want to find the probability that we have at least 1 Zazan and at least 2 vanillas post Mulligan. This computation actually doesn't. I was working on it for such a long time. I didn't want to spend the more hours I would need to spend to find what would happen if counting first draw and counting the draw off of the ride from V starters. So and I'll say that again at the end. So the idea here is that we want to look for the probability that our first box is big, at least 1, and our second box is at least 2. So we only have 3 boxes here. We have the box 1 is Zazan, box 2 is the vanillas, box 3 is
everything else.
So any grade 3s you might have will be in box 3, that kind of thing.
So then we had to come up with the combination of fail cases in case we didn't find one of those combinations of 1 Zazan plus 2 vanilla.
Right. So ideally you just have it when you draw your opening hand, right? And that's the case here. So the case where we at least have always a 1-2 in the first one. So we could have 1-2-2, 1-3-1, 1-4, or we could have 2-2-1 or 3-2-0. And these are the only cases, because any other case would be would lower the first or second box below 1 or 2. So we only have 5 successful cases, and all the fail cases would be there are 14 of those. Initially we thought there were only like 5 or 6, and then we were like, oh wait. Yeah. I thought I forgot the really silly ones like 410, 401, 050, 005, and then I realized I forgot these other 5, and I was like, oh god. So I keep going back and I don't even know why I thought there were that few. I think what happened was I was putting a restriction that I knew the first box had to be couldn't be more than 4.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, oh well, if the first box can't be more than 4, so I don't need to worry about these 2 boxes being more than 4.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not true, right?
Right.
Because there are more than 4 vanillas in your deck. There are more than 4 nothing.
I would hope so.
Yeah, right. So I end up doing a bunch of multinomial distributions for each of these different cases. So 1-2-2, 1-3-1, 1-4-0, 2-2-1, and 3-2-0.
And this is
all of this.
This is like the snap keep hand.
Yeah, this is the snap keep hand. And you have a 20.5-ish%. You open up your hand, you're like, Dees.
I got the one Zazan, I got the 2 vanilla, everything else doesn't matter. We're good to go.
At least that. You have at least that, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, God forbid you have like 2-3-0. And it's like Zazan's like go off. Yeah, no. And so, already even a 20.5% chance of just like having it is pretty strong.
Yeah, not wrong. Especially with a combination of 3 cards coming together.
Yeah. It's like it's so nice that you have so many repetitive vanillas too.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want to change the number of vanillas, I know this would be a lot of effort, but you would have to go and change all of these numbers here.
Like all the small ticky-tacky numbers.
I hope by the end of this, I'll have a nice spreadsheet that'll just do it. But it'll take a bit more work.
Yeah, and if and when Matt does have a Excel spreadsheet or Google Doc or something that's put together, I'll be sure to share it maybe through a YouTube post or something. That way people can go in and play with optimal numbers and figure out what they want to do with their own personal Zazan decks.
Yeah, for when I do like gear, I play a lot of Final Fantasy 14,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll look at a lot of PDFs of like gear simulations, and I'll usually download a copy so I can change numbers myself.
Yeah, that's smart.
And so that's going to be this will probably be the default there. So a bunch of people don't have edit privileges to the same document.
Yeah.
So then the rest of the thing will be to say, well, what if we don't get it in our opening hand,
Mm-hmm.
and we have to mulligan to get the rest of the cards?
Thankfully we have the new Mulligan system, because oh my gosh, this would be impossible with the old Mulligan system.
Yeah, the new Mulligan system definitely helps out a lot because it kind of acts as though the cards are being removed from the deck.
Yeah.
So the first case is like 0-2-3. So this is where we have 0 Zazan. We have our 2 vanillas, but we don't have 3.
We have 3 everything else. 3 non-Zazan.
Right. So what we want to do now is we did make an assumption here that if we didn't have Zazan in our opening hand,
Mm-hmm.
we would be full mulliganing to find it.
Yeah, so regardless of the number of vanillas in our hand, we would ship everything to make sure we get to try to give ourselves the best odds of finding the one Zazan.
Right. And an important thing to note about Vanguard mulligans is when you mulligan in Vanguard, the cards are sent to the bottom of the deck.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So those cards are effectively out of contention to be drawn as the next 5 cards.
Yes.
So when we look at 0-2-3 that we're mulling everything, we know that we're removing 2 vanillas and 3 of the other cards from our deck. So that's why I have 18 and 22 instead of 20 and 25 as I had up here.
Okay.
And I only have 44 cards left in the deck because the 5 cards we threw back were no longer counting.
Right.
So that's why this number has changed.
Okay.
So now I compute, so there's a 22.9% chance of even getting in the situation 0-2-3, which is pretty common.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's an additional 22.5% chance that we draw what we need out of the situation.
Okay.
So because we've reduced the amount of cards in the deck, we're more likely to find maybe a Zazan and something else.
Okay.
And so that gives us another about 5% chance of finding it off that.
Okay, I'm following.
So now we do the same for the second case, but instead of a 2-3, we have a 3-2. Again, we compute this probability. We compute the probability here. So so again, we're throwing everything back because we don't have a Zazan, and we get another about 3.7%.
Mm-hmm. And
eventually, we're just going to keep adding all of these end probabilities up.
And as Matt was saying, because you might, if you made it this far into the video and your mind isn't sufficiently blown at the moment, because it confused me at first too. The reason why case 1 and case 2 are different is because in case 2 we have an additional vanilla card in our hand that we ship to the bottom to try to draw the Zazan, which means there's one less chance for us to draw a vanilla off top after that.
Correct. So that's what. So you lose about a 1.5% there,
Mm-hmm.
which might not seem big, but does add up.
Yeah, and card games percentages are everything. Micro percentages.
The more interesting cases are when you have like a Zazan and a vanilla.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is probably the last case I'll talk about like super specifically.
Yeah.
So in this case, you want to keep the Zazan and the vanilla and ship the other 3, right?
Mm-hmm.
So again, this first computation is the probability that we even get in this position. The next thing we calculate is, well, instead of calculating, so now we need to draw a vanilla and the other 3 cards, right? In a probability of on 44.
Right.
So instead of saying I want to find at least 1 vanilla, I just calculate 1 minus the probability I don't find a vanilla at all.
Okay.
So since there are 44 cards remaining, and I know 19 of them are vanillas in this case, right? Because we have 1 vanilla, so there are 19 vanillas left.
Mm-hmm.
So that means there are 25 other cards.
Right.
So the probability I draw all 3 of those cards is 25 choose 3 divided by 44 choose 3.
Okay.
And I subtract that by 1. So that gives me an 82.6% chance to draw at least 1 vanilla and 3 cards.
Okay.
So I'm using the complement here because instead of doing 3 computations, here I only have to do 1.
Okay.
So this saved me 2 whole computations. And then I multiplied them, and then I got the percent on this case. So we do this for all 14 cases. And this is a lot, I understand.
Now, what does the 1.56% represent again?
So this 1.56% is the chance that we get the hand we want in the case that we draw 2-1 from the start when we draw 2-1-2. So this is an additional percent chance that we draw at least 1 Zazan and at least 2 vanillas through this route. So through the route of 2-1-2.
That seems low.
Yeah, it's not very good.
So if we already have 1 Zazan,
well, it's mostly low. It's mostly low because the chances to get in this are already low.
Oh, okay.
You're not likely to even get in this position.
Okay. So got it.
So this is a fairly rare fail case, and I'll just go through some numbers. Like if you look at this one where you have 3 Zazan, the case you even get in this is like astronomically low.
Okay.
Like this 0.06%.
So basically, if you're in the situation of the 2-1-2, the chance of you hitting the turn
is
1,
very high.
Yeah, you're gonna hit 82% of the time, or 83% of the time you're gonna find the vanilla that you need.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right. Yep.
Got it.
So again, this is actually pretty high considering that the chance in this position to begin with is already kind of low.
Okay.
And the same for this one. It's just a little less because we need 2 vanillas instead of 1.
Mm-hmm.
And we're shipping back 4 cards here. So again, here we'll only keep the 1 Zazan and Mul 4 because we need vanillas.
Right. So then we did all that over 14 individualized cases.
14 cases. 7 pages of work. And we added up all of these ending probabilities here. And we got that in the case to draw at least 2 vanillas and at least 1 Zazan and post Mulligan. This is before draw for turn.
Mm-hmm.
And before the draw for riding off a V starter, it's about 46.4%.
So after all that, even though like my assumption was incorrect, like now that we have a more accurate assumption here, you're still almost in a coin flippy chance of getting Zazan under the assumption you're playing 20 vanillas to start with. So as you add more vanillas to your deck, obviously the increase, or obviously the percentage chance of you landing is going to go up proportionally with it.
Correct. So and it'll actually, once you add more vanillas, it'll actually start going up really quickly, at least to a certain point. So I'm not sure what the optimal number of vanillas you want to be running is. I don't know where you want to put that. But again, this is also not counting your first draw, which has a chance, like if you already have a Zazan, like let's say you're still stuck in like 1 Zazan and 1 vanilla, your draw for turn could fix that. Your on ride draw could fix that.
Right. So
there are so many opportunities to, that to be fixed for you.
And for the sake of our sanity, for those that are still watching this video, for the sake of our own sanity, we kind of culled it to where we didn't want to go through those extra assumptions because it would add like an extra, at minimum, like another hour, 2 hours, 3 hours to Matt's time. And he already did enough for us as it was to get to this point.
Yeah, and it was, I had to learn a bit about this. I had to use this like multivariate hypergeometric distribution. I had read an article on Channel Fireball a couple years ago, but completely forgot about it. I was like, oh yeah, Frank Carson did talk about this, but yeah, I didn't really pay attention to it very much. I was kind of like in and out of Magic the past couple years.
Yeah.
Mostly because Magic kind of botched it last year, but anyway.
Different video, different podcast.
Yeah, different place. But yeah, but I think this chance is like, since we know that this is a low estimate, like we know that the realistic chances of you having it is going to be much higher than this.
Especially when you factor in
well,
the
not much
additional
higher,
draws.
but like definitely high, like significantly higher than this because of being in the one Zazan, one vanilla situation is probably fairly common. Then drawing the extra one is probably pretty reasonable.
Yeah.
But again, that's a whole bunch of extra computation that I
just
don't kind of just yeah, it's a lot of effort. So.
And I don't blame you. I don't blame you.
But we know it's at least this.
So I guess you can consider 20 vanillas as like a nice midline starting point for your percentage that you want to look for in your deck, and then you can increase it from there as you add more.
Right.
So thank you once again to Matt for putting this together, because there was a lot of time, a lot of effort, and some headache and frustration along the way. He actually put this together in PDF form, which I'm going to share in the description down below. And once again, once Matt has the time to put together this information into a function and like kind of a robust Excel spreadsheet that people can have fun and tinker with, I'll be sure to share that as well, because I don't see Zazan really going anywhere.
That'll be,
yeah,
but I'll do my best.
Yeah, that's what I was alluding to, because I don't think Zazan's going anywhere, especially in the premium format, unless they ban it because it's too crazy powerful. But until that day comes, we'll still be waiting for Matt's playground of Zazan calculations. So if you've made it here to the end, definitely give Matt a thank you. Check out Nexus Night for their podcast. Really cool guys, really fun people to chat with. And Matt, tell them where they can find you.
Oh, you can find me on Twitter at Wiggums, 2Gs, 2Zs. And that's really like the main place you can find. Oh, and Proof's Discord. It's pretty much the two places I'm hanging out at.
I just wanted to hear him say 2Gs, 2Zs. And yeah, thanks again for everybody. I apologize for the incorrect computation in the outset. That's my fault. I should have reached out beforehand, but thanks again to Vanguard Insider for bringing it to my attention, and give him a look. I'm gonna leave a link to his channel down below, because I think I owe it to him for taking the time to type up his long explanation for making sure to give me a heads up on things. So yeah, that'll do it for this video. I hope you enjoyed this video. Hope you enjoyed the last one, even though it's incorrect. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace. Be easy.